Welcome to the fascinating world of traffic signals. Today we are going to continue prepping up this intersection where we're going from wooden poles and span cable to mast arm with mast arm signal heads. We got to hang one more type 3 over on this signal pole over here, and then we'll be pretty much ready, and we're just going to be waiting on the power company to get their meter hooked up, and then we can finally do the swap over on this guy. Also going to get this luminaire light hooked up, tied up, and ready to go so that we have some light out at this intersection when we do the swap over. And then after that, we are going to go down to different intersection and start prepping up some meter stuff over there. Take y'all along with me. Let's get to it. And in the meantime, while they work on hanging that type 3 signal head over on the mast arm, I'm gonna go ahead and get ends made up on all of these Cat 5 cables, get them plugged up and get them all hooked up to the CCU. So when the time comes, we're prepped up and ready, and we're not trying to do all of that in a pressing matter. So let's get to work on it. Guys, the humidity out here, I'm telling you, it's absolutely horrible. But we do have all these Cat 5s done, crimps on them, plus all the patch cables running to the CCU. So all that's set up, ready to go. We'll get some STLC cables hooked up and plugged up in here. Already have a hub assembly right here to make all that work. And they are about done. Real hard to see out there, but they are about done with that signal head. And then they're gonna move over here, again, hard to see, and get set up for this luminaire light that's gonna go up right above the cabinet here. And this is one of the street lights that we're about to hang at this intersection. Now, as you'll see on the top side, we need a shorting cap. A shorting cap is pretty much just a closed circuit inside of this cap here. You can sit here and hook it up on the top side. Pretty easy, just a little twist connector. It'll now power and feed right through this LED and turn on when power is sent to it. From there, we do need a photocell, but this photocell is going to go into the power pedestal, which is going to supply power to the luminaire lights. Pretty simple and easy on the photocell as well. You'll see it has the same 3-prong connector. So let's go ahead and open up this power pedestal and get the panel opened up on this guy. And you'll see there's already a prefabbed up spot for this photocell, and it's wired into a lighting control, which is going to supply power down there when the luminaire lights are ready to be hooked up. So all you got to do is take these prongs, twist it together, have it lined up right. You'll see this guy just twist right into place. You'll see where it needs to go out to. And this little gap right here, there's a window in there. When it gets dark enough, this photocell isn't going to read enough light, and it's going to flip on the luminaire lights out in the field up top, which you can see they're not on yet. We don't have power to this guy yet. But that's in, and we can go ahead and wire in the power for the cabinet and hopefully get the wired in the luminaire lights as well. So looks like both cables are pulled in correctly. 3 cables. We're supposed to have 3 luminaire lights. Only going to end up getting 2 for right now. But we can get this guy wired up for the main feed for the traffic lights, and we'll get these two conductors wired up for the LEDs. All right, guys, so we got the power pedestal set up. As you can see, this is going to be our breaker for the traffic controller cabinet. This is going to be our lighting control. Got our photocell in there. So when this activates and closes, it's going to feed power down the line, down to this terminal block here, which has our 2 conductor going to a luminaire light that they are installing right now. So once the power company finally hooks up power to this power pedestal, then we'll get lights out here and be able to do this swap over at this intersection. We are all cleaned up at this intersection. Now it's time for us to head down to one of the other ones that we got to do some meter work at, and then possibly some meter work at a different intersection, and then we got a little bit of a punch out list we got to do. So we're gonna go hit the next intersection now, possibly get done with a couple things, and then probably take lunch, let my guys take lunch, and then they're gonna meet me a little bit further south. So y'all come along with it. As at this intersection, if y'all can even see, we are building a meter and breaker panel assembly. We got our riser running up this pole, ready for the power company to hook it up. Gonna install our meter base, meter can, and our breaker box, and then this will feed the intersection. And as you can see it, we have our meter and our breaker panel hooked up, ready to go. Riser set up by this transformer. It's all wired in. I only had some number 4 in my truck, so I had to use some oversized cable on the load side, but that won't be an issue. and we have it all wired up, ready to go. I'm gonna close up these boxes and then on down to different intersections so we can start working on a punch out list and hopefully call it a night after we get a handful of things done with that. Also, I guess I didn't really explain too much on wiring up a meter, but I will go ahead and show you all this now. So up to that transformer, we're getting 240. So we need 2 hots and a neutral. So coming down to this breaker or this meter can here, you're gonna have 1 phase over here and a phase over here. These are gonna be your 2 hot phases right here on these lugs. Then you have the neutral in the middle. We still got to run a ground cable and get it grounded right here. And then you have your neutral coming out the bottom, and you have your load cell of this meter can here. And you got your 2 separate phases there. This runs over to this breaker panel, and these lugs here is what's going to make the bus bars here hot on these breakers. So once we wire up these and once we get power going through from the line side to the load side, comes around here, hooks up, creates the bus, and this is where we can add our breakers into. So as you can see, here's one of our 20 amp breakers that we're gonna have, hooks into here and folds down onto that tab. Did not push all the way in. Maybe it did push all the way in, didn't feel like it did. Yeah, that went in and seated in this time. And you'll see these tabs right here. These are gonna be what's hot once they finally supply power to this meter can and everything like that. So this, as long as this is hot right here, these 2 tabs where the breakers are gonna go into will be, and so as down here, this other phase, these 2 tabs will be hot, and then this is gonna be our neutral block right here. And there we go, our 2 breakers are installed. We can put our dead front on both sides of it, and then we're about ready for the power company to come hook up that transformer to these new lines and pop a meter into here. We as well have a photo cell over here we'll have to wire in once we get some luminaire lights into this breaker panel. Reason for it is because a car drove off the road and hit this main feed of power that's powering this intersection here. So on this project, we are replacing this guy, adding in a new, running our new riser, tomato, the whole 9 yards, getting it all done, so that we can have new power and not a messed up meter housing here for this intersection. So that's the reason why we're going from this existing one to this new one here, and we'll get this guy working to feed this guy. All right, guys, we are now down the road at a different intersection that we're trying to do some punch out list things. And right now, one of the things on the punch out list is gonna be to activate a countdown onto these push buttons. So when the countdown starts on the ped head across the road, the ped button itself will actually count down as well with the timer.
7, 6, 5, 4.
And as you can see, it's doing it correctly. On the ped head down there, it's countdown. The push button itself did the same thing. So, looks successful. They're working like they should be. They also have tones for the walk sign is on and telling you where to cross.
6, 5.
And it's also giving the countdown there too. So that one's working correctly as well. Go around and check all these buttons. I just set them into the Polara app and they're working now. So I'll go around and press them all, make sure they're working properly. Also, I know I've shown it before, but we can show it again. When you press one of these pedestrian push buttons inside of this traffic signal controller, you'll see that it locked in a call for phase 4 pedestrian. So let me drop the call on phase 2. And you'll see that this call will not drop until it's answered. So when you press those pedestrian push buttons, it will then start cycling this intersection, giving you the walk sign across the road, and then that will allow you to cross through the crosswalk and answer the call. It also gives the vehicle phases a green light. And now, once the ped clear is done, no calls on the vehicle side, it's gonna swap back to the main road, Highway 49 here, going green like it did so. Next intersection, and what we can do here on the CCU, we need to go ahead and activate the Wi-Fi. Click that button. Now I can go onto my phone and get the Wi-Fi set up to that CCU. As you can see, we are in the Polara app, connected to the CCU, connected to other push buttons, And when you go through this, all you need to go to is PBS configuration, go into settings. That's gonna go to the PED button you first connected to here. And then we're trying to get a clearance tone to count down. So when you come down, you'll look for clearance mode sound, and then you'll add in the countdown to it, drop down, go to countdown, hit done, and then go into write. That's gonna send all this data to the PED buttons. Now, when we go through and we push one of these PED buttons, you'll see it's giving the information about walking across, but we'll see once this goes to the countdown if
6, 5, 4, 3.
And there you go, it's working like it should. Activating other PED buttons here, but that countdown is now working, and it should be working on all these buttons at this intersection. I'm gonna go through and just test them all before I leave. And while I go ahead and test all these buttons, just going forward on the content, I'm really enjoying these style videos, the longer formats and everything like that. And I want to get better at the editing, so you may see some like family style videos and maybe just certain vlogs and whatnot, and just something where I can have some content up that I can edit and just get better with it, and then do more of the signal related stuff obviously as well. Oh yeah, she's working like she should. So weird, the volume just on them guys go from a little quiet to way too loud out of nowhere, and you set the volumes on these guys and they, I don't know, little quirky things. Some player I should look into. But y'all let me know how you'd feel about that, more longer form, maybe even some vlog style content. And as always, make sure to hit that like button as well. So please make sure to comment if there's anything y'all want to see from me, anything traffic signal related, anything new. I do take y'all's comments as suggestions most of the time. I try my best not to get absorbed into the comments, because it does get a little bit depressing at times if that's all you do is read about yourself. So try to stay a little bit away from the comments and DMs at times and emails, but at times I do go through them all, especially when I first post a video. And so y'all definitely let me know if there's anything out here y'all would like to see, and I'll try to make that happen for you. They are traffic signals. They do about the same thing over and over, but I am passionate about it, and I do this for a living, so I'm just fine with beating a dead horse and making the same kind of videos over and over again, explaining certain things. So if there's new information y'all want from theirs and updates with everything, I'll definitely make sure to give updates on signal related equipment, things like that. And obviously I'm gonna be doing more videos like this, so make sure to leave any kind of comments and things like that that you want to see out of me on this video and any future videos and previous videos. Any of them that you see, just throw a comment out there. It helps out the video as well, and I'll make sure to check them out and try to give y'all any information y'all want. So another thing I have to do on this punch out list right now, these advanced radar camera combos that are picking up these left turn lanes with the camera and the advanced lanes, this highway here down 49, the through lane traffic, it's wanting advanced detection. So we need to be picking up vehicles around 600 foot away, but they're also wanting with the camera that's picking up this left turn lane to also go ahead and have some stop bar zones drawn in on the through lane traffic. And the reason being is because certain intersections are so close together that they don't even have more than 1,000 foot in between each other. Heck, you can see the next intersection down on this camera. So they're not wanting this traffic to get backed up by any means, and they're also wanting to give a little bit of stop bar detection along with those dilemma zones and advanced detection. So we're adding these zones in, getting them set up, and that's part of our punch out list. So let's continue on. I'm pretty much going to be doing the same thing at the next few intersections of getting these camera zones set up, PEDs talking and counting down like this should be, and then making sure everything's working properly for this punch out list. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video on that note. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and if you learned something, make sure to comment down below what you learned. And as always, thanks for watching.